Ryan here with Prudential Pest Solutions, and in this video we're going to be treating and removing a yellow jacket nest under the ground underneath a deck. So come take a look at a Ryan's eye view of how we treat and remove yellow jacket nests. So in this particular case, these clients who have been clients of ours for years, they called us up because they had some yellow jackets. Now they actually had two yellow jacket nests that they told me about that were on different sides of the house. But one thing that we always do is, especially this time of year, this is late August, early September, and this is in Glenmoore, Pennsylvania, which is in Chester County in southeastern Pennsylvania. Well, one of the first things I always do is we just walk around the full property just to make sure we don't miss any other nests that might be there. Well, lo and behold, underneath their deck, I kept seeing yellow jackets zipping in and out of the lattice. So I knew, based on seeing that they probably weren't going up and into the decking itself. These were ground yellow jackets. So we got to find the nest. So I crawled underneath here. Of course, I'm all suited up in my bee gear so that we don't get stung. And it was interesting when I got under there, and it was not the easiest entrance, I knew the nest had to be under the ground, but I didn't see any yellow jackets. And based on my experience, I saw this folded up tarp here, and I thought, I'll bet you they're under there. So before I even started moving the tarp, I grabbed my PTPI, which is my aerosolized insecticide, which I love, by the way, because it knocks them down quick and it permeates that whole space, right? Which is very important when you're working that closely with that many stinging insects. Well, I moved the tarp a little bit, and what do we find? We find the opening of the nest. Now, I'm going to leave it kind of covered for the moment, but you're going to see us actually treat and remove it. But for the moment, I just want to get some of that aerosolized insecticide deep in there, and then make sure I'm all ready to go. And by all ready to go, I mean I have my aerosol ready, I'm in a good position, and I can get into the nest. So you can see as soon as I pull that tarp back, boom, there she is. Now, when most folks call and they have ground yellow jackets, they'll tell me, hey, I sprayed some over-the-counter stuff, some stuff from the grocery store, the hardware store, but it didn't kill the nest. Well, that's because these guys, if you've watched any of our other videos, like our bald-faced hornets videos, for example, you'll know that their nest is covered with a paper covering. So not only is it in the ground, but it's in the ground and then covered by a paper covering. So the best way to do it is to, number one, inject into the opening, which if you're not wearing a full bee suit like us professionals are, or you're just not comfortable around thousands of stinging insects, which I don't blame you if you're not, I am. But you're going to know that they're not only are they underground, but they have this paper backing. So which is why when we do these underground treatments, we're going to make sure that we try to dig up the nest if it's accessible. Now, if it's underneath a porch or concrete, obviously we're not going to rip up someone's property to find it. But in this case, I was able just to move that tarp and then access the nest directly and then treat it, and we're going to see us actually remove it. And it's always interesting when you see those yellow jackets under the ground. These are by far the nastiest. When people always ask me, Ryan, do you ever get stung? Of course I get stung. But it's almost always from yellow jackets. Hornets, European hornets, bald-faced hornets, honeybees. Well, honeybees have given me a run for my money in my years too. But yellow jackets are just relentless. They're small, they're tough, and they just love being kind of jerks and just stinging people, which I always kind of give them the benefit of the doubt because I am murdering them and their entire family and destroying their house. So I kind of get it. But when people ask me, what do I get stung most by? It's definitely these yellow jackets because they are just mean and nasty. So you can see here, I had the nest removed, and we can see that that's about a volleyball-sized hole that they had excavated into the ground. So this wasn't the homeowner just had a hole there and they used it. Piece by piece of dirt and gravel and dirt and whatever was under there, they removed so that they could make a chamber to make their nest. And I always find that very interesting as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to collect all the nesting material. Now, since this was in the ground, and if you've seen our other treatment videos, you'll know that aerosolized insecticide is great for an initial punch, but it doesn't have any longevity. It doesn't have any really residual. So if this was in a wall or a structure, I would apply some insecticidal dust, which doesn't work as quick as the aerosol, but it gives us some lasting power and lasting protection. But in this case, because it was in the ground, I don't want to just put a dust in there. That doesn't make any sense. So what I'm going to do is that once I crawl out of here, I'm going to put on my backpack sprayer, which is a battery-powered liquid sprayer, and I'm going to apply a liquid insecticide to that area. And that's going to kill off any of the stragglers. Because remember, the workers there's always workers out and they're gathering resources and they're coming back to the colony and they're saying, whoa, what happened to my family and my home? It's gone. Well, they're going to die. They can't rebuild the nest, but that liquid is just going to accelerate that process for them. So as you can see here, I'm just kind of making my way out from underneath the deck there. And of course, I'm glad I had a light lunch so that I could actually squeeze into there. And then we're going to close that door, get that nest out of there, and try to put some of those bushes back a little bit so everything's nice and pretty. So again, on this property, this was actually the third nest that I treated. So as we walk back to where the rest of my gear is, you're going to see I have my ladder set up because I was treating other nests. And Ryan, why didn't you videotape those? Well, I did. The problem was it just wasn't fun or exciting to watch. It was just kind of a standard in the soffit treatment. We couldn't access the nest, so I didn't even show that part. So this is actually the third nest that we treated and removed on this property, and they're good to go. So what could they have done to prevent this in the future? Well, what I always tell people is early summer, late spring, if we do an insecticidal liquid treatment around the outside of the house, we're going to kill off the workers before they even establish a nest. So if you have bees, wasps, hornets, stinging insects, or any pest in general, it's time to call the professionals at Prudential Pest Solutions. You can reach us at 484-401-4361. We service all of Berks County, Chester County, Lancaster County, and southeastern Pennsylvania.